Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. So good to see you face to face. I have an announcement of a little bit different kind, so I wanted to go ahead and try to do a face to face. It's super uncomfortable and this is like take 5, but I'm going to go ahead and persevere. So I wanted to let you know that this is actually the video that you're going to see, the process that you're going to see for Sunday's Art of Truth is actually going to be my last video that I'll be posting directly on YouTube. So I will be moving my my social media over to Gab Social and MeWe. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, and I'll be using Vimeo, which is the video platform that I will be uploading my videos to, and then I'll be putting those links over on my website in my blog just as I normally did, and I'll also be posting those on Gab and MeWe. So just a little bit of information about the reasons behind my decision without going into a lot of detail, because the detail is not important. For me, the reason, or not the reasons, but the heart decisions that we make sometimes can be controversial. They can be not understood. We can feel the need to explain ourselves, give a reason, and I'm very prone to that. I always like people to understand my position, but I'm to the point where this decision is mine. It's personal, and I'm doing it for my own heart reasons, and those reasons are there's a lot of censorship going on YouTube and Facebook in terms of more conservative points of view, and broader than that. It's even broader than conservative points of view. And I just feel really passionately that we should be able to have freedom of speech as long as we're not being abusive, as long as we're not tearing people down, as long as we're not threatening people, those kinds of things. I believe that freedom of speech on those platforms should remain. And I've actually been censored on Facebook for my political views, even though I didn't say or do anything wrong. And so this is a decision that I've been thinking about for several months, and it's just kind of come to a head, and I've decided that in order to honor that place in me, and in order to honor the conscience that I have about it, that I really need to just kind of leap off of Facebook and leap off of YouTube and try something new. And sometimes change is hard. I think all the time change is hard, but sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's enough to propel us into a completely different arena than we would have ever imagined. And that's what I'm hoping for. I've been kind of stunted in my creativity recently, so I hope to be back up and running and doing my normal 2 videos a week. It's going to take me a little while because I've been out of the loop for a while. So again, you'll be able to find me over on Gab Social and MeWe, and I'll be sure to put those links in the video description. You can always find me on B.Rebornart.com. That's my website, where the links will always be there for where you can find my videos and where you can chat with me if you want to. So I hope that you'll follow me over there. I certainly don't want anybody to feel pressured in any way. I'm so very, very grateful that you chose to subscribe to my channel, that you've followed my art, that you have enjoyed it, that you've left beautiful comments and suggestions, and I am eternally grateful for that. I will leave the content up on my YouTube channel, everything that's been created up to this point. I won't be removing anything, but I will no longer be using it as my platform for video. So again, thank you so much for listening, hearing my heart. I hope that you'll follow me. Totally understand if you don't. Take care, blessings, and I'll see you hopefully on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and let you see what I'm going to be creating. Thanks. Okay, here we go, guys. Last video on YouTube. Wah. I'm a little bit sad. So I'm going to be working on a small MDF board. I think this is a 4x6. I've already pre-gessoed it. I'll be using some acrylic inks. This is Amsterdam in quinacridone rose. I'll also be using, I believe, some muted gray. This is from the Liquitex Muted collection. I will also be using, I believe, some transparent raw umber. I have a piece of rice paper. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I have a piece of rice paper that I'll be using, just this delightful little gate and roses and things. My word for the year, which is what I decided to go ahead and write about for my last Sunday's Art of Truth on YouTube, is my word for the year is peace. And so this embodies peace to me. It just feels very tranquil. It feels very soft, and just reminds me of really calming things. And so that's what I'm going to be creating around. I also pulled out this stencil I thought I would use. I'm not sure which part of it I'll use, but I wanted something that was kind of small. I may change my mind, we'll see. I pulled out my heavy gesso just so that I can do some stenciling with the gesso. So I'm going to start by giving this a coat of the buttermilk, light buttermilk from Deco Art Americana paint. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to go ahead and squirt some out here on my mat. This is going to be a really quick video. Don't want it to be too complicated. So I'm going to go ahead and paint all the edges. I hope that you guys are doing okay and that you saw my beginning message. I wanted to be sure that I got a chance to kind of tell you what was going on and let you know what you mean to me and what it means to have had any kind of an audience on YouTube. It's a spectacular thing. I would have never guessed that I'd be doing that, and so I'm very honored that you would choose to follow me, and I hope that you'll continue to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a good coat here. And the reason why is I just want I want some even color underneath this rice paper. This rice paper is, oh, I'm sorry, I cut off the maker. I'll have to look it up. I've got it in my Etsy history. So I order all my rice papers through Etsy. A couple of different suppliers. One I believe is called, oh, now that I need to say it, I don't remember what it is. I'll link it in the video description as well as over on my blog. And also over on my blog, if you do head over there, you can go ahead and click on the little envelope in the upper right-hand corner of the main page, and you can shoot me an email, and that way I'll have your email in my email, and I can send out a notification when I post a new video if you'd like that. So feel free to do that if you so choose. So I'm going to go ahead and really quickly dry this, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is mostly dry, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere my rice paper, and I just trimmed it up a little bit while I was off camera. I love already that background because it's going to really make those colors pop by not getting too dark around here. In fact, I might keep this super simple. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but I really like the vibrancy of that white or that buttermilk, so we'll see. Just trying to get a soft brush here. Now that I can get it off. Okay. I'm going to put a really good layer of the matte medium on the underneath. And I do want to leave a little bit of space for my sentiment that I think I'm going to put on the bottom. Well, maybe I'll go kind of in the middle here. We'll see. There's no right or wrong, guys. No right or wrong. Give this a good coat on the top as well. That allows it to really disappear into the background a little bit. Again, a really simple piece. I didn't want to put something too difficult in front of myself. I actually had filmed 3 videos in the last month or so, and somehow they're not on my computer, so I'm super bummed about that. I created, let me show you really quick just so you can see the art. This is incredible. I did this piece that's on a 9x11 canvas, and it says every day is a fresh start, and I completely lost the footage. I don't know what happened. I also did a wood panel for my granddaughter for her birthday. I lost that footage that I was going to upload, and I also lost a journal spread journal page spreads. I don't know what's going on. I've been distracted, so I probably just wasn't paying very much attention. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be right back after this is dry. Okay, this is dry. Here's just another close-up of that. Oh, I just really don't even want to do a lot of color on it. Not sure what I'm going to do. I am going to come in with a little bit more of the buttermilk paint just so I can kind of disguise these edges a little bit. So I'm just going to use my finger to do that. See if I can kind of blend that out a little bit. It never really works the way I think it's going to. I'm going to try. Not really working. That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling anyway. I am going to wipe some of that off. Looking a little bit weird. If I can. Okay. So now I want to go in with some stenciling, but I'm feeling like the stencil that I picked is really not just not going to cut it. So I'm going to look here in my smaller stencils. These are my Tim Holtz collection. See if I can find something. This is really pretty. I think that would be good. Just kind of do this kind of lattice stenciling around the edge here. But I do want to come in with some paint. So I think I'm going to start with the quinacridone rose and get, I really need some texture down first. I'm out of practice, guys. Really out of practice. I guess I'll do the gesso first. So again, I'm going to be using heavy gesso, super heavy gesso. And I'm just going to get some of this out with a palette knife. And use that as my my texture. So there we go. So I'm just going to kind of do this so that I can actually get it. I want to frame the entire thing with this stencil. So this will help disguise some of those edges, I think, too. That's the hope. It's not the end of the world if they show, but kind of a perfectionist about that. I like things to blend together. So I'm not going to go up to the corner there because that's not a true corner. I'm just pushing it into the edge of that edges of the stencil. Not sure why it's not getting in that little one. There we go. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. So let's go over here. I really don't want to get it on the rice paper, so I'm going to wipe this off. Oops. I didn't put my silicone mats underneath my brown mats, so everything's moving around. Okay. There we go. A little bit of a towel washing, and we're going to go ahead and go I suppose it doesn't really matter if I just do this edge. Again, heavy gesso. Okay. I really like that. Okay, so now we need to get up here in this other. I'm going to go ahead and turn this, and I think I can just turn the stencil because it should be the same on all sides. I'm not going to be able to tell the difference, so I think we're okay. And again, just pushing that gesso with my finger into the sides of the stencil. I just really want this to be simple, not overdone. I tend to overdo things in my art. You know, take that step that's just one step too far. Do you ever do that? I do it all the time. Okay, let's see what we got here. Lovely. Except we have a hard line here, so I'm going to need to fix that. And I need to get, so I'm going to have to dry this so that I can actually move that stencil around the other missing parts. So as you can see here, I need to come in here down at the bottom and then just a little bit of more over there. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this really quick. There's a couple speckles I don't like, but I'm afraid if I scratch it, I'm going to ruin the rice papers. Let me see if I can do this gingerly. I don't want white speckles on my image. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to do the last little bits here. More gesso on here. Okay. Alrighty, so we just need a little bit right in here. I'm going to try to match that up if I can, just so that I don't have, so it looks like I didn't do it in pieces. Beautiful. Can't even tell that it was in pieces. So I'm going to do the same over here because it's not very heavy and I want it to be a little bit more pronounced. So I love how the stencil's lining up just beautifully though. So I'm going to get some more in here. Now I'm going to pause the camera and dry this and I'll be back. There we go. Okay, we're ready for the next step. So this is dry. I am going to set it aside so that I can work on my sentiment. So as I mentioned before, I'm using peace as my word for the year. I was trying to find a stencil. I have this Sean Petit stencil, but the P comes way down and it's making it really difficult for me to make this small. So I'm thinking I'm going to find a different stencil. So I may try an alphabet one, so give me just a second. Okay, I found a different piece stencil. This is also from SeanPetit.com. If you want to check her out, her stencil line is incredible. I used to be on the design team. I am no longer. She has a new fantastic team, so if you want to check her out, I'd encourage you to do that. So I'm going to find a makeup brush here to stencil my words on. I'm using a different color ink, so I'm trying to find a different color pad here. Not gonna have any luck with that, so I guess I'm gonna have to use the black. So let me just try to wipe it off a little bit. See if I can get it undirty. It'll be okay. It's kind of a blackish brown. This is Vintage Photo. This is an archival ink, so I wanted that vintage photo color, but they don't sell it in a pad anymore. So I had to buy one of the blank pads and then buy the re-inker separate. So that is that. So I'm gonna, and while I was off camera, I went ahead and just took a piece of chipboard and painted it with that buttermilk paint and gave it a good coat. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stencil my my word piece on top of it, and then I'll cut it down to size that I want here when I'm done. So again, I'm so out of practice, guys. I feel like I'm really not very with it right now. I'm going to go ahead and use my makeup sponge. I want it to be fairly subtle, so that's why I chose the Vintage Photo ink. Hopefully I can hold this still. When you haven't been creating in a while, hands and fingers don't really work as well as they do when you're doing it all the time. So let's see. That should be good. Except my problem is I'm not going to be able to close the loops like I normally would because I don't have a brown pen. I might have to see if I can find. That's a problem. I will tackle that in a minute. maybe I can go back over it. I'm not sure. I didn't think that through very well. So now I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I should actually get my cutter out so I make sure I get those lines straight. So bear with me a second. I want to be sure that everything is not all cattywampus. So once you've created one straight edge, then you're good to go. Oh, except I just smeared the ink. It's frustrating. That's okay. Except that line is not straight. Goodness gracious, Renee. So out of practice, guys. Keep getting that same fingerprint over there on that edge. Oh, lordy, lordy. Okay. It's just you and me, right? Okay. So, I think I'm going to try to... I was thinking about putting a little bit of paint on it, so should be able to... Actually, I could probably just touch it up with a little bit of the paint. Let's try that. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. That's one thing I've learned. Art does not have to be perfect. So that worked really well. So let's see. I do want to, I'm going to do some distressing around the edges here with my distress tool. If I can figure out the safe place that it has been hiding for several months because I have not been creating. Oh, yikes. Well, I don't know where it is, so work around here. Well, maybe I'll just try my scissors, see if I can do it that way without hurting myself. Yeah, it's the old-fashioned way. I just don't want that edge to be super pristine. Make it look a little bit rustic. I do have a tool that does this, but I moved the studio around a while ago and I haven't created much, so I haven't necessarily had the need to find things that I put in different places. So there we go. I like that. Oh, so now I'm going to go ahead and go around the edges with that same ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the sponge just to kind of darken those up a little bit. Looking a little bit rustic, but that's okay. And hopefully that will dry and won't smear any more than like it did earlier. So it is archival ink, so it shouldn't be a problem. I haven't used it a lot though. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the project back down here and see what we got going on. I do want to add some color to this. Feels a little cool to the touch still. I'm a little concerned about that. I'm going to zap it really quick with a heat tool just on these sides that I added to. The word is a little bit bigger than I would like it to be, but I think I'm going to put it up at the top when I get to that point. So I'm going to come in with my spray bottle with some water, and I'm going to use some of my acrylic ink that I spoke about earlier. I'm going to be using the quinacridone rose. This is from Amsterdam. It's the only Amsterdam color that I have. I just love the quinacridone rose. It's one of my favorite colors for most things. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz my project here. I will be guarding this area here where I have my rice paper so that I don't get the ink all over that. I can control it. We're going to add a little bit more water and let that kind of move around. Oh, pretty. I should be able to wipe, I'm going to let it run. I should be able to wipe it off of the rice paper, so I'm not too concerned about that. Just really want it to get in all of those crevices got going on here. A lot on my table currently. Oh boy, that's really wet. Okay, let's sop that up. Yeah. There we go. So see how we can dab it up there? You can also dab it up where it's heavier or too heavy. I'm not concerned about the sides because I'll come back in with some paint and paint that again. So I'm just kind of pouncing my baby wipe around. And let's get another one. I just want it to be really subtle. Okay. I'm going to wipe these edges just to make sure I don't have any goppy drips that sometimes catch me off guard later on down the road. Okay, we're going to go ahead and dry this and move on to the next color. I think I'm going to bring some green in. Okay, this color is dry, so I just want to give you a close-up. I apologize, the lighting in here is not great, but the color of this pink is the same color as the roses. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm going to come in with, it's still sticky. I need to dry that some more. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, that's better. This is dry. I decided I wanted to come in with some of the, this is sap green, or olive green, sorry, olive green in Daler & Rowney acrylic ink. So I'm debating on how I want to apply this though. So I think I want to go ahead and get some up here at the top. And I'm going to spray and let it run. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that color run. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I do want to kind of control this a little bit. Perfect. I love that. Let's go this way. Get some more on the bottom here, on the sides. I don't think the gesso holds up to water as well as like modeling paste, so that's why I might be having some trouble with stickiness. as I was just mentioning. I don't think it has the stability to hold up to that. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to let it ride, let it go. Hopefully we can get some of this up so that we don't lose our pink. This is an experiment. We're losing our pink though. That's a bummer. Let's see. Oh, there we go. There we go. Turn this baby around. I love it. Needs some more green up here though. Too much down at the bottom. Looking imbalanced. I love the hints of pink that you can see though. I think it's perfect. I may get a little bit, still not getting enough green up here. I'm not sure what that's about. Just doesn't want to stay down for some reason. There we go. That's what we should have been doing. Perfect. I love that. Love, love, love it. I do want to make sure that I keep this nice and light. My focal image there. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and dry this and come back to you. Okay, so here's a close-up of that texture. As you can see, it's really quite beautiful. I'm not sure what all these specks are. They must be pigment. This got really tacky here. It still is kind of tacky. I'm not sure. That's the gesso. I wouldn't do that again. I won't do gesso again. So I thought I would come in. I tried it a little bit in this corner and just come in with that buttermilk, just kind of skimming it over the edge, and I really like it because you can still see the color underneath, but it's toning that all down, and I like it. So I'm going to do that all over this texture. Yeah. I have to be careful up here because that's where it was a little bit, I don't know if the gesso was thicker and it just didn't get quite as dry, but I wanted to bring back that light anyway, so this is really good. Kind of lightening it back up. Still can see the color underneath, which is really pretty. This is just going to be for my studio because it's my word for the year, so it just needs to be something that I want to look at when I'm in here busily creating. I like that. I think that was a good move. Trying to figure out if I need to get more out of the bottle. And it kind of disguises where I lost some of that definition too. I'll show you here a close-up as soon as I get my finger clean. So there it is with a layer of that paint on the top. So I'm liking that a lot better, and I think it's going to be more fitting for when I put my word peace on it. So I'm liking that. I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's a close-up again, and I just realized that this is all going to be okay up here because that's where I'm going to put my word. So again, I don't know if you can see that texture. Hopefully the still pictures will capture it, but you can see the pink and the green underneath it, which I think is really beautiful, and it brought back that buttermilk color that I was really fond of. So I thought about doing a raw umber glaze, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use the transparent. I was going to use this transparent raw umber, but I don't think it needs it. So, but I'm going to put my word up here. So I've got my E6000 just because I don't want to deal with other glue. So I'm going to go ahead and get that put on the back of this piece of chipboard. Again, really simple project. I tend to go overboard, as I mentioned before, so it's kind of nice to just stop here and be okay with that. I can get my E6000 out. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And after not creating for a while, everything is harder. It just seems like I've got two left thumbs, or two left thumbs, two left hands. Anyways, things aren't really working out so good. So we're going to go ahead and put that up here on the top. I'll frame that really pretty. And then I'm going to get my towel just so I don't touch that with my fingers and just kind of press it down. I don't like to transfer stuff on my fingers onto the top, so that's perfect. So I'm going to come around with my my soft pastel and do my edges because I do want to have a nice vintage kind of frame around this. So I'm trying to find my pastel. This is my Rembrandt soft pastel in black. So I'm going to go ahead and go around my edges. Yeah, I like that. Really pretty. Okay, there she is. That is the close-up. So I'm probably going to go around these edges with my raw umber fluid acrylic. I really like that as a frame around my pieces. And I may come back in and touch up and connect those letters. I'm not sure. Again, it's just for my studio, so I'm not super concerned about what it looks like. It's just for my purposes. It's just going to hang on the wall opposite of where I sit so that I can be reminded of what my word for the year is. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's been such a pleasure to be here on YouTube, creating for you, sharing with you, interacting with you. I hope that you'll follow me over on MeWe and Gab. Again, the Vimeo link will be in my social media, so on my Gab and on my MeWe. So you just click on it, just like you would click on a YouTube link. But instead of taking you to YouTube, it's going to take you to Vimeo. It's not going to show you a bunch of other videos. It's just a link directly to my video. So I hope that you'll check it out. Again, no obligation whatsoever. I really don't want to lose all of the people that I've come to know here and that have been following me. So I would love it if you would follow me over to the other side, the dark side, so to speak. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that life is treating you well. I hope that your family is healthy and growing, and that you have much, much, much love in your life, and that the stresses of our current world don't weigh you down too much. I'm really working on that this year to be at peace, just as my word of the year says. And I'll be writing about this in my Sunday's Art of Truth, using the quote that's actually on my wall. It's a like a transfer on my wall above my door, not above my door, on one of the high walls in my studio, and it says peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. And we're living in days right now that are particularly difficult still, going on 1 year of really severe difficulty and discomfort and hardship and job loss and all of those things. The list goes on and on and on. So I hope that you find peace in the midst of those places, and that you're able to find that place within you that speaks to you, that centers you, that reminds you why you're here, what your life is about, what your purpose is. And I hope that you're able to just stay on that track. That's what I'm working towards. I've kind of gotten swallowed up a little bit, and I want to get back to what feeds my soul and feeds my life. And so peace is the pathway for me anyway. So I will stop yapping and let you go. Thanks again for watching. Check out the video description if you want to see the links to the other social media sites that I'll be posting on. This is being recorded on Wednesday evening, prior to Wednesday. I believe it's the 17th of February. My Facebook is actually coming down offline tonight. So I kind of set that goal because I knew if I didn't set the date, I probably wouldn't do it. And so by the time you see this video, my Facebook will no longer be in existence. But my YouTube videos will remain up, everything that I've done from this point backwards. And then everything going forward will be viewable via the Vimeo. It's a whole nother world. It's a lot of growth steps for me to learn new processes and all of that stuff. So again, be well. Thanks. Bye-bye.